Okay, hello everybody. I'm Alanna Starr, and I have a very, very special friend, mentor, guest on an interview show today. So, Dr. Sarah Larsen is here with me. I'm at her home, and I just want to start off with saying that this is an interview to learn about Dr. Sarah and all that she does, as well as allow her to share what her views are on the miracle frequency and magic, right? And magic. So yes. The difference between magic and the miracle. So we're going to get to know her today. We're going to get to talk about a lot of cool topics, find out what she's working on. And we have an inspiration from our Yogi tea bag. The art of happiness is to serve all. And we were like, what should we title this video? What should we talk about today? And really it's being in service. And one of her, from me knowing her goals is like, how can I serve the most people and really bring the miracle frequency to people so they can understand why it's important in the times that we're living in. So Dr. Sarah, please.
Thank you so much. It's been so beautiful. I adore our friendship. I am so grateful for all the work you're doing. And I'm so excited when you said, oh, I have this podcast, I have this interview series, will you come on? I'm so grateful to be part of this. And one of the things that as a medical doctor, as a medical intuitive, as someone who's studied interfaith and gotten degrees, I really want to honor you for stepping into having the understanding of the unseen world and going in and becoming a hypnotherapist.
Thank you.
And then taking all of the wisdom, taking all that you do and adding the element of wanting to serve all as well. That's what we do at Miracle Makers Academy. We are so... my work with non-government organizations as a doctor, and then building schools when I had kids, and then this beautiful academy that's online to really help raise everyone's vibration to the miracle frequency. Our earth is so incredible. The life, like, it's Einstein that says either everything's a miracle or it's not. And the love and serve all really came in early from having a grandmother and grandfather that we're working with, it's incredible to have this rug behind us, right? My grandparents were with the Indian Army and really profoundly wanting to do were part of the movements, fighting Hitler, part of the Gandhi movements, part of bringing peaceful transformation. And so that's what that serve all, non-violence, to really bring in the highest frequency, the highest happiness that you can bring and share it with all people. I struggled when I was a child. I struggled with physical, mental, and just a lot of abuse. Mm-hmm. And I knew source, I knew the universe, I knew a higher love and a higher understanding. And because I had that trust and that faith and connection to that higher understanding, I always longed to serve. And so from high school serving, from medical school, from the non-government organizations, that love of service, I now know there's so much science that shows when you love to serve, the miracle frequency, life gives you more regions of your brain, gives you more regions of your heart, gives you more life force.
I've definitely felt that call into my life since being around you, and just, the journey that's led us to like meet each other, and like all the people that we've interconnected with hold that frequency. It's pretty cool.
It's really incredible to hold the frequency. It's like when you're like, oh, I was just thinking about this possibility, and then the possibility manifests right in front of you. I was just wanting to work with that person, and there it is. The opportunity shows up, the person shows up, and the exact perfect words that you're like, where did those words come from out of my mouth? And there they are. Love frequency, miracle frequency, the flow universe frequency is working through you.
So would you say that that miracle frequency has a lot to do with trusting, a form of trusting? Like, how can you, in order for someone to get on that vibration of the frequency, the miracle frequency, how can someone learn to trust that divine intelligence coming through?
That divine intelligence, it's so important. It's so beautiful. The 5 people that you hang out with most, we have in our hearts and in our brains, we mirror what they do. And you get to see from the inside out what your friends are doing, their beautiful levels of trust. When you have the courage and the compassion and the kindness to share authentically what's going on with you, you raise everyone's vibration. When you come in and you might be hiding, like my room's a mess right now, right? But the rest of the house is pure and clean. But if I hide that and pretend like it's all, then a level of trust isn't built between us. The mirror neurons, the highest level of courage. If I get an intuitive hit that something's not right, if we've built that trust between us, for me to have the courage to speak it with kindness is what builds in the universe even further. And to not take anything personally.
Yeah, you'd be wise if you take nothing personal. And then if only we can remember that in the moment of a heated situation where like you want to defend your stance because you want to be understood. You know, I find that it always goes back to love. Like it always goes back to like a lack of like, or needing to reassure someone, you know, even though we're having this moment where we're trying to figure out where we stand, there's still so much love. It's like, and that holding that space is important.
That holding love and holding that space is so important. And sometimes serving that person means leaving them for a little while, for this lifetime sometimes, right? And inviting the energy to come back in to match your frequency. If there's abuse, if there's not respect, if there are things that diminish, like if you diminish your light to be with someone,
it's a disservice.
It's a disservice to them. You don't build trust within your body. And it's an amazing thing to fully understand. Everyone has an incredible frequency, an incredible potential, an incredible possibility on any given day, especially aligned with the stars, aligned with where they are on Earth. So you've got this incredible potential, this incredible possibility. But unless your heart is open, and unless you fully are connected, the lower half of your body with the Earth and the upper half of your body with the cosmos, your heart open to yourself, your heart open to possibility, your heart open to love. So I often say, you know, you can do anything you've seen another human being do, but no matter how much I practice, I won't sing like Michael Jackson. No matter how much I visualize or how much I work on my the physical, the universe can come through me and help me grow experiences of Dr. Sarah Larsen in the same energy that is the miracle frequency that Michael Jackson carried. So it's a subtle energy understanding. I want to say all of that another way. There was not a single free animal lost in a tsunami or lost in a earthquake. Free animals feel the vibration of the earth. They feel the tsunami. They are synchronized.
And we are not because of our shoes.
And our shoes, right? Grounding every day helps you And it's not necessarily just the shoes. It's really listening from your lower half to the earth, trusting your gut, and trusting. It's a skill set that we have available to us as kids.
So would you say that, you know, of course, when we come into the world, we are bestowed a certain level of connectivity, but there's because it's actually given to us. It's a gift from
Yes.
spirit, from, you know, it's our right in a sense. But in order to really activate and go beyond the limitations that have been kind of like, you know, there's a lot of things like the 5G network or things that kind of like block our ability to fully tap into that. Part of it is actually doing some kind of work for yourself,
some kind of
and getting to know yourself, right?
Right, the Socrates and all of the ancient philosophers.
And studying with great teachers.
Studying with great teachers, but know thyself. If you know, oh, this is my frequency, and you feel a shift from the earth's frequency, you know yourself. So you can go, oh, that was the earth communicating. If you know all of your body is connected to something greater than yourself, something greater than you beats your heart. And that whole opportunity of fully understanding how you work comes from knowing yourself. You have to know why you're driven in a particular direction. You've got to know why the lines in your hands change. You've got to know why some people bring you great energy and you're energized, and some people just drain energy. You've got to understand that for yourself. And then the other part is your whole body is a bridge to the current moment and the past. Your bones were, and the iron and all of the particles, calcium, magnesium, all of that forged star systems. That's phosphorus, all of that making up your blood and your bones. Those are the stars, the universe alive in your body. You bring in your breath, and that's the current moment. And when you're really
locking in the breath,
walking in, connecting deeply with your breath, and then knowing how to expand it out, knowing how to extract the information for you. There's research that you can smell Parkinsonism years before it shows up. You can, years ago, we used to diagnose diabetes based on the smell oozing out of a person's skin. Wow. Like 4,000 years ago, you could tell that diabetes exists in this person, the blood sugar. We didn't call it that. We called it something else, but we always have had. We've got these incredible senses inside.
Right. I remember my first session that I had with you. You did a meditation with me, and it was actually clearing out the houses of my sense of smell and my sight. And I often use that now as like a way to help others. You know, I bring that because I really think that was very helpful for me to receive, like learning how to clean out the senses.
Right.
To receive.
To receive so beautifully for your senses is so beautiful. Each of your senses lives in your conscious mind and in your subconscious mind. And when you're with a mind that is able to help you, you're in hypnosis, right? In self-hypnosis or in guided meditation. And in guided meditation, your body gets to relax completely. And a higher frequency that you've always wanted is now in place in your body.
Because you're relaxed enough to be able to hear and receive.
Right.
And make those changes subconsciously.
Subconsciously, your body goes into the perfect brainwaves, delta, theta, gamma brainwaves, and years of work. That's why hypnosis is so beautiful. And cleaning out your senses, each one of us gets 4 billion bits of information a second. But,
I love it. It's like, right,
4 billion bits. If you take a look at wherever you might be watching this, right, there's so much information on that page. Our reticulo activating system, a region in our brain, is designed to only see the most valuable things. And if you're so that you can manifest the miracles that you're here, that only you can manifest. And so when you train yourself to see, clear out your senses, cleanse all that came before, then you receive in that system, in the brain waves, an ability to see more of the opportunities that are always present for you.
Speaking of those opportunities, so I'm letting her talk because I just love all this stuff. It's like, just so much information that comes through, and I have a ton of questions for you. But part of this interview was really to share with the world, what work you do and why it's important. So when I said earlier the difference between magic and miracle, right? There's many people who create magic and they use the elements and they use all these things for their own reasons, right? But when you're coming from a place of service, there's so many different areas that you can receive healing or receive guidance. And a few different ways that Dr. Sarah does is she does palm reading. She's a medical intuitive doctor. She can tap into your body and actually speak to your consciousness of your body, whereas not that it's more important for her to do it and not you, but it's important to have someone who can help you get there so you can receive your own messages for your own body and look at your own palm and understand why your lines look that way. Maybe you're not so much as interested as what your palms say, because it might not be your path to understand it fully, but it does help so much to understand, your health and how, the way your hands feel, or just someone being able to tap into your energy field because they've done a lot of work to be able to go that deep. And so she's really someone who can help you get there and understand who you are, because it's so important to know who you are. Gnosis, the knowing of the self, it's the great work, and it's alchemy. It's transforming your own consciousness to become someone who's able to receive, and I would say worthy and deserving of a galactic mindset, right? Of being able to fully be a part of a huge family of light that's waiting for you to come online to receive that. And Dr. Sarah, she's interacted with numerous people like healers, Nassim Harameed. Yes. I can't even name how many people. Matt Kahn.
Yes.
She's been in the presence of Amma.
Yes.
Right. Many different healers that she carries that vibration, that frequency. And so I vouched for her, and that's why I wanted to interview her so she can share, some of the things that she's working on, some projects she's working on that I think people should know about. I think the palm is so important to understand who you are. I sit and stare at my palm for hours sometimes because it's so powerful. And my partner, we have very similar hands. And but so things change when you begin to realize and interact with people who make it their life purpose to help people come online to their higher power. So take it away. Share some more about what you do with that.
It's so beautiful. The way that I started was my grandmother. And my grandmother had this wisdom and love of service. It's kind of in the whole family. So that love of service, that love, that wisdom, that knowing, that was outside of the lines of books. Even though they were educated and books were important, it was more what you knew on the inside.
Can I just tap in for a quick second? That's a good point. So some people who believe in Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, we understand that Kabbalah means to receive.
Yes.
So there was no writing before. It was very verbal. So
everything,
makes so much sense.
Right? Very few people wrote things down. Once they were written, the oral traditions is a living tradition.
A living transmission.
A living transmission, initiation, and activation. And your ability to remember, we used to have incredible capacity. What I love is when I started, it was after my grandmother passed away that I started doing palmistry publicly. It was very difficult to do palmistry as a respected doctor and giving lectures. I would not share about the palmistry. I do it with friends. I do it at holiday parties. And at some point when she passed, I wanted her work to live on through me. And it was from being of service to her. I decided to do 1,000 readings, and your lines change constantly. They're changing. And if you worry, like, you can know how you're programmed for happiness, what your potential is in the area of music, in the area of writing, in the area of contributing to different projects. You can, there's like an encyclopedia in here, right?
And then all connected to, so, you know, the body, the whole star system is inside of your body, hence why we have a solar system and the solar plexus. You know, it's very much related to the planets, right?
So every finger represents the planets. Again, so is above, so is below. Everything that's created out there makes sense in here. In other words, when you look at the cosmos, what you see is your brain matter. When you look even further into each one of the individual clusters, you start seeing your eyes. You start seeing the makeup of each molecule. You find the space. And much of what we learned before didn't necessarily account for all of the mystical, invisible world.
Can I ask you about that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know, like you said, you didn't want to be public with it before, because of course there was a lot of people who didn't believe in it or didn't want it out. So my question for you is, why do you think that there's been such a like backlash with these kind of things, these mystical things, when clearly they're very real?
Yes.
And many people are using these things. And so I think that it's important for people to understand at this point in history.
At this point, so many of us are awake. The Essenes, the Native Americans, predicted of a time when the rainbow tribe, and I consider the rainbow tribe your chakras, right? You're a living rainbow, and each one of your nerve bundles that are these wheels of energy inside your body, the chakra systems, when they're fully lit, you light up like Christ consciousness.
Yes.
He was lit up. Mary saw him, first one to see him.
That's kind of to the Essenes.
To the Essenes. Again, that ancient technology. A lot of this got hidden and used by people to separate us and to really have and I love Jesus's words here again for Christ consciousness. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. They didn't have the eyes to see the division that was being created.
There's this thing that they planted seeds thousands of years ago, and now they're finally, that's for the first fruits, so to say, right? We're finally kind of being able to come online to those things, because there was a lot of, you know, no, we don't want this stuff out and stuff. And now we're kind of seeing spirit, science, and religion kind of come together for a common purpose. Wait a minute, we just have different colored skin, but we're all having a creative experience together.
It allowed us to create in so many areas. But in India, there's 250 something languages, right? Each region separated. They have different words and different emotions, 250 different types of feelings. Every time we learn a language, and the language of magic, the language of miracles, the language of alchemy, the language of science. It is so, so beautiful. It gives us so much possibility. So each of these languages were separated into different regions, and the separation caused only those that were using their higher senses, caused only those that were in service or those that had profound teachers be able to continue the work.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that makes sense why some of us are in the dark, in the shadows still, because the world is ascending and we're moving up in consciousness. And if you don't do the work or come online to that, it's what they call being left behind in a sense. And it's not that there's something wrong with the people that are not there yet. It's just that there's a waves of like people who do it first to lead the way. It's just they're far ahead. It's way far ahead. It's like, okay, but it's all important.
Just like we get to stand on the shoulders of our parents and be the bridge between their experience of the past our parents tell us stories of them growing up. And then if we're lucky enough to sit with kids, kids tell us how they see the world, and we get to share with them how we see the world. It's this bridging activity, that energy, that transmission. The number one thing is, if you don't know yourself, and if you can't fully admit when you've gotten something wrong, life doesn't give you more miracle frequency. And you have to rely on magic.
Gnosis is not being a know-it-all.
Gnosis is really knowing yourself. It's being able to say, oh my gosh, I got it right in these areas. I'm still developing myself in this area. Help me, right? That's part of being open for feedback, is we are feeding the universe. This is Nassim Haramine's arc crystal. It's such a beautiful crystal. It's now being measured. It shows you that it's so beautiful.
See if you can see this.
The force is with you. It's in isolated, independent studies. It shows burst of energy, scalar, resonant, kinetic energy. So this is advanced, it's called ARC, advanced resonant kinetics. Our body, when your heart is in a space of free flow, like you're not a know-it-all, you're not defending yourself, you're in total trust. It's a miracle frequency. The universe loves you.
It responds back to you.
Right.
And you resist it, starts giving you things to fix again because you're clearly not there.
It gives you those incredible challenges. And as long as you don't take the challenges personally, you're like, oh, that's the loving universe giving me feedback. And usually the one, the most successful, greatest people from the Essenes, I want to, you think of Steve Jobs, you think of Bill Gates, you think of the inventors, you think of Mother Mary, you think of the Sophia codes. It's such compassionate, gentle energy. It's filled with kindness. It's filled with openness, and it's filled with vulnerability. Imagine, and I want each person that's watching this to imagine really embodying and saying what they're most afraid of to say out loud.
Because then there's nothing.
Mother Mary, right, said when she could be killed, for seeing angels, for being pregnant out of wedlock, right? Mary Magdalene shared her sight and experience, again, when women are killed. Today, our killing is not pow, pow,
yeah,
pow.
It's way different. It's a lot more,
Our killing is subtle looks, subtle energy, subtle disconnections.
It's even things being put on the internet now to articles that are not true and things like that. Yeah. Confusing the minds and keeping us disconnected from each other, and kind of those arguments instead of fully being vulnerable with each other.
Right.
In community.
Yeah. Being fully vulnerable, and community is probably the most important thing.
That's what Miracle Makers brings to me.
Miracle Makers, we are a community. We're in service. Some of the incredible work. Thank you, the group that you're part of, Shamanitas, coming out to this incredible fairy ranch. And bestowing such grace on the ranch.
Well, no, thank you for inviting us and connecting us, because it was such a warm welcoming. We went home feeling really charged and just loved. So thank you.
It was so beautiful. So these ancient lands with water underneath is communicating out to the world. Come to me, come to me. The Shamanitas came, and literally things got donated to the ranch. More energy, more possibility in community. When your rainbow body is on, when your chakras are on, and when you're with others that have their rainbow body on, and you're both in service, what you visualize together, what you see in your third eye together, gets the sensations, gets the goosebumps in your body, and it manifests, and it raises the miracle frequency, and it stays there. The difference between magic is it's winning over your own subconscious mind and winning over the subconscious field. And it's a one-time thing. And you have to repeat it over and over again to create magic. When you hold a miracle frequency, your vibe attracts even greater than you can imagine. Magic can be done, and can be done for good reasons. Magic also has a cost. And again, believing in love, believing everything's a miracle.
Believing that your environment is literally communicating with you.
It's
like when you see the signs, it's like when you believe them, be like, whoa, actually that bird might have just flew past my face because I just prayed and asked for a sign, you know? And when you really receive that and realize that everything's alive and communicating with you, you get rewarded in different ways. It's almost just like we have to invest in ourselves, and sometimes we pay for things that are really expensive to further our education or further book sessions with people. Like we actually create the space for our spirit and consciousness to give you more of those synchronicities.
Yeah,
because you're actually like putting the effort and making it action, because action's a big part of it, right?
Action. So you've got intention. You've got your intention to be happy, your intention to live your purpose, your intention to raise your frequency, your intention to be of service. And then you've got energy and motion, emotions, right? You're going to either feel like it or you're not going to feel like it. How do you know which inspired action to take, right? In other words, when your intention and your actions are divinely guided by your third eye, connected to your whole body. So imagine that you think about someone and they call you on the phone, right? You're like, oh, I was just thinking of you. There's the miracle frequency, your intention. You were thinking
and
of
your
them.
Acknowledgement of the moment.
And your acknowledgement, that action, the universe acted. You saying back, I was just thinking of you. Is real acknowledgement to the universe. Oh my gosh, there's synchronicity happening here. Repetitive synchronicity takes any moment that you ask for a sign, any moment that you're using the elements, it brings in the miracle frequency so that you're living in, oh, I was just thinking of that. Thank you for this gift. Oh, yes, that's exactly the next perfect step.
Speaking of the elements.
Yes.
So Dr. Sarah recently helped initiated our process. With the shamanitas, we asked her if she can help us initiate us to the next level of the work that we want to do. And we had an incredible experience and ceremony with her. And part of that job as shamanita for us is working with the elements in a way that brings reverence to their power, so that people can co-create with that energy. So I really want to get your insight and share what it means to work with the elements.
It's so beautiful. And so I want to give an example, right? We were outside. It was all cloudy. Right. It had rained that day. And we did the inner intention setting. We did the initiation. We did the activation. Then we go outside and we're with the fire and we're with the elements and we're really going, all right, this is that moment. Are we there? Are we there? Has this worked? We're asking for the signs. As many clouds as could fill the sky.
There was not one open space in the sky. And she starts and talking,
And so we start talking to the sky. And we start talking and we let go of the intention of the sky we create the intention, the sign, we create the intention. It was on without force. It was the Syrian sisters were with us and we wanted to see them. They were behind the clouds. We chose that day for the ceremony based on the purpose of the shamanitas and the planetary alignment. And here we were. We said, oh, we're going to go out and see them when we set the date. And then all of the elements, it rained, it poured, everything that could possibly say, you're not going to see these stars, you're not going to see these planets. And we went out there and said, all right, we are. And we set that intention. Then we went into the rest of the ceremony. And before it was over, and again, this is in the news, it said something different, right? In the news, it said it was going to be cloudy, blah, blah, blah. There we were, all of us, with the clouds
and
opened.
We were like, oh my God, like literally just it opened right where we were, just like opened up. And then like we were seeing all these different shapes. And then after the ceremony was over, after we got in trouble for singing too loud, because it was like after 12, I don't even know what time it was. We were like singing loud with the drums. And literally it went back together. And it was it.
And it was
so yeah, that's an amazing example actually.
It's an amazing knowing that you are one with the universe. The universe is listening, the feedback's happening, and there's something greater than you, that great mind that gets to work through you. You've got instructions inside your body. You've got instincts, right? You were born with these incredible instincts. It's the same root word of instrument, instruction, it's same root word for instincts. And when you begin to get higher and higher in knowing yourself, when you get to levels of going, right, even in the beginning, maybe one of the or two of the shamanitas were like, maybe it won't happen, right?
Oh, we've had our ups and downs.
Maybe, and there was no resistance to what would be. We were playful and joyful and trusting of whatever would be. And because there wasn't like a knuckle-fisted, this has to come through and manifest in this particular way. The open hearts, the open space. So Earth heard us. And the winds, right? The ethers, the fire that we created, the fire gives to the earth. The earth creates, whether it's metal, right? The metal, the reflection, the actual, taking metal collects water. Water is collected, and there is metal cuts wood, right? And wood, when you're breathing, you're bringing in wood. You're bringing in what, and you're producing what helps grows trees and plants. You're connecting with the elements. Water, we now know, has perfect memory. The earth, oh my gosh, whatever we give her, she absorbs and makes more beautiful. You give her a seed, she gives you flowers and fruits and trees.
I think that's a good example to start right there, where you're talking about how much the earth gives. And I think that part of us awakening and growing into that is really, resting into that understanding that it provides for us, that there's no lack.
Yeah.
Because if we came out of the lack and poverty mindset, then we would I feel like it would automatically come with the idea that there's an endless flow coming through. But we almost think that it's not going to end. And so we overconsume and we overproduce and we do all these crazy things. But it goes against it, because it's endless. It doesn't end,
There's a Native American saying that any extra is poison.
Yeah.
Any extra is poison. And if you look at my room, I have so many clothes, right? And gifts.
And then it gets frustrating trying to learn what to do with it.
So there's that extra and one of the things with energy, with service, with love, it's easy. Once you start on that path with courage, with kindness, the first few times, if you want to believe in miracles, be a miracle for someone else. When you start putting dimes into meters, when you start being the source, you pay for the groceries for someone behind you. But when you become the source of that, the universe is like, this girl has got it. She got
You
frequency.
keep making all these good points. So like you said, pay for the person behind you. So something I feel like I struggle with sometimes, like I know that there's like a lot of like, you know, income coming in for me somewhere,
Yes.
that it's coming in, but still there's some times where like I don't feel like I have enough. It's like, how could you share with us how to give from that place of like, it's going to be okay, and you know, not come from that lack mentality, because we want the universe to see that you're not living in lack, and you're not living in that mindset, so we can all continue to grow that together. How can we, besides paying for groceries for somebody,
right, or giving $1 to someone you see in need, or giving the clothes. Well, what's amazing is you've got an abundance of something inside you. It doesn't have to be dollar bills. It doesn't have to be something material. You've got an abundance of something inside you. And with any emotion that you feel is a record of the past. If you feel an emotion for longer than 2 minutes, you are addicted to that emotion.
Oh my God, that makes sense.
So humanity collectively is addicted to a lack mentality.
Even some of the richest people have that still in them, because they hoard things.
They hoard money. Yeah. They hoard the resources that could help others. They never feel wealthy. And this is so that addiction to money, that addiction to hoarding, that addiction to creating stability and safety. So you've got to create for yourself what you've got an abundance of. And that my daughter, when we were at the Raw Bazaar, she must have been maybe 3 or 4 years old. She was hanging out with all of the entrepreneurs, all of the raw food chocolate, all of the raw food authors, and it was a bazaar that we did in Los Angeles. And she went and got she went and got a stack of sample cups. She went out and she got little flowers off the flower bush. She's like 4 years old. And she poured a little bit of water into each. And she decided, I am collecting money to help the Raw Bazaar go forward. She took the little cups with the flowers, sold them for $1, and gave them to the founders, right, of the Raw Food Bazaar.
And Jazzy.
Which is at 4 years old. There's no lack. It's abundance. Every resource, that the flowers are right there, the water, the cups, whatever idea it is, it's about getting into this space of being open to create. But we've seen this with so many people. You start with one idea and it expands and expands what's possible for you. You have to hold the emotion of what you're creating in your body as if it's already occurred. So for me, we're building a hospital in Afghanistan. We are now building it's a 5-year project, a Miracle Makers neutral zone. Anyone that makes it into the zone, we have a vertical garden that we're going to grow. We're a health center and an education center, women and children in the center, families around that, and outside of that, men. And the men in the region, the health ministers of different regions are coming on board. So in my mind's eye, I see myself feel what it feels like to have those conversations, to be taking care of the babies and the mamas and picking fruit off the trees. When my emotions in here feel that, then my body, the universe's feedback is, oh, she's already got it. What I'm giving thanks for it in my body.
How do you deal with the people, like say you're working on this project and like you feel like you're aligned with it, but then some people like they're aligned with it a little bit, but then they're also like, well, all these fears come through and their anxieties because of their conditioning. How do you know, learn to match vibrations and hold that frequency when you can kind of tune in and feel the unsteadiness? And it's like, how do we bring it together?
So that bringing it together, your vibe is part of your tribe, and you're going to raise the frequency together. And there is a frequency of dissonance, the disconnect frequency that one person has to open their heart. Like the Dalai Lama comes to town, the crime rate falls. So one person within the group has to keep their heart open and their vision, their mind's eye. And I usually do it like this because I see it as a different plane. I see it coming directly from source, from the universe. So I see the vision in here going through the two halves of the brain. So the person that sees the higher vision and wants to bring everyone up to it, the more anxious people to it, you meet them first where they're at, and you bring them up together. So in other words, you have to humble yourself. It's in a recent trip, I was with someone that was, right, they called in the angel of death. Like they had so much conceit in their energy field, and so much just energy, and they called in for themselves a challenge with like the angel of death. And this person, regardless of however they were showing up, to meet their vibration and to stay with and bring it to the next level. I want to say that another way. In my reality, everything shows up for me based on my vibration, based on my frequency. There are as many realities as there are people. There are as many dimensions. And so in my reality, this person did not pass away, even though they were doing the dumbest things. And all of the work was done from seeing the angel, from loving this person, bringing myself to their frequency, and then allowing the vibration to rise together without necessarily, like the second you're judging someone, you're not loving them. And so, yes, to even say this person was taking stupid steps, right, that's a little bit judgy, but in that moment, knowing myself, going, oh my gosh, this is the energy at hand. This is what's up. I've got to really love this person, even though I could judge them.
So stop being like, what I'm getting is like also just the non-judgmental part of it is like not being upset with someone for not fully seeing what you see.
Right.
And that's where the frustration comes in. It's like, oh, you can't see what I'm seeing. But then also it's just like, it's nice to be able to see that and not force it, but like kind of like, you know, I guess it has to do with like what God does for us, right?
Yes.
Like we're obviously God, our divine heavenly parents know exactly what we're doing.
Yes.
You think that they don't know? They must know everything that we're doing. They don't intervene.
Yes.
That's why we have to ask the angels for help, because they can't intervene unless
you ask the elements.
We have to ask the elements for help.
You ask with your emotions. What you're feeling is the asking for help. If you want to feel happiness, you practice feeling happy.
Or ask that person to maybe see from your point of view.
Right? And so if you want someone to see from, right, if you want, you have to see it from their point of view first.
Right.
And when they have dumped all of their energy into your collective field together, you embrace them and you hug them and you're like, wow, all right, let's, with kindness, I heard all of that. And this is how I see it. One of the most important things is in your world, you've got to be here, and everyone else that you're interacting with, you've got to put them in a visual that lets you command your life, connected to God, connected to love, connected to service, more than it is connected to them. I want to say that another way. You have to know yourself. You have to know how you connect to the elements, to God, to the angels. And when you've got that, and whenever someone comes into your energy field and you're like, oh, what I'm feeling, my body's a radio that receives everyone around me's feelings, and it transmits and amplifies anything that I verify with my emotions. I want to say all of that another way. You can listen to a person and listen with a beginner's mind without believing them, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the courage in your heart to go, wow, okay, I accepted this and I accepted that, but this part does not resonate with my knowing inside my body. And you just focus on that one area to bring into resonance with them.
Amazing. Yeah. Great. So that's so powerful. Because I think we've all come through those challenges, and it's nice to just kind of like, hear someone's advice on how to get you back on track, so that way our ego and our pride's not in the way and we really can do work that we came here to do, right? Speaking of work that we came here to do.
Yes.
While we have time here, I want you to tell us some of your projects that you're working on or things that are important to you that you want. I know that you have a project with the building space in Afghanistan. Miracle Makers Academy does a lot of different things.
We do so much. So Miracle Makers Academy is an online community. We do classes 3 times a week. They're free for you to jump in. You sign up for the newsletter. You sign up for the guided meditation. And then you start getting invited to these free classes on how to use your body. Wellness Wednesdays, right? How to use your body on Wednesdays, how to use your love on Thursdays, and then science, spirit, alchemy on Sundays. They're like spirit, science, alchemy Sundays. You get to really learn how to play with the elements. And when you're ready, if this is when you're ready and you want to know yourself, there's so many guided meditations. It's $10 a month. And we created this so we could give the best information to the most out there. And you're part of a community. Part of the projects that our community is working on is with Prince Ali. Prince Ali is in Afghanistan. He's got lands that he's donated to a free neutral zone. We're working with Matt Kelly, this vertical garden that writing the proposals for vertical gardens for environment. We're planting trees. We are helping the homeless. And these are individual projects, not just the one in Afghanistan, but here in Los Angeles. We're helping with horse. Some of the work that I love to do is animal communication. So through different wildlife preservation, we're working with Sapphire Sanctuary to help rescue horses that might be put down. We have one for monkeys. These are individually owned. One for all of these, like ducks, fire damaged lands in California, and individually owned, right? So Miracle Makers are doing the work, whether it's in financial or physical or providing food, providing clothing. We help with PTSD. We help relocate a lot of stuff together, which is one of the best gifts. So each individual comes in and we find projects that work with their heart, coaching, and you take an idea from spirit into mental and emotional, something concrete, and then it physically comes through. Like this rug, it was an idea in someone's head, then mental sketches and the energy emotion, the weavers came through, weaved it, and it continues because we take care of it and it continues to go on. This was created by Nehru for one of the diplomats that was really beautiful in the nonviolent movement. And that family gifted this to us, to me. And it's all of these wise men that came before Napoleon, Benjamin Franklin. We're finding out I think that's Thomas Jefferson. We're finding out who all of these wise men, I think Joan of Arc is up there as well, wise women. This physical thing stands because the energy and motion, the mental energy and the spiritual energy are still served. You're alive, you're breathing because you've got a spiritual energy that beats your heart, that breathes for you. And that spiritual energy, I love communicating with like your grandmother and great grandmothers. It's like I get to feel the love they felt for you. Those that passed on from their higher self, they see it all now and then they communicate it. So there's the work that we're doing on the planetary level. Then there's the individual work to understand how your story fits in with your family's story, fits in with the global story. And then there is that next level. Whatever was missing, if happiness is missing, we share, you figure out, oh, this is what makes me happy. We create a ritual for any of the blocks that might be.
It really is something extremely healing. You know, a lot of the information that you've given me, you know, it's almost like there's an addiction to like wanting to hear what someone who can really listen, and you know, it's like, but there's like so much. I feel like there should be like a national thank you day to psychics that put themselves out there, palm readers, people that do the work that we do, because you know, it takes a lot of energy to be able to channel someone else's ancestors and bring that, you know, as a clear channel to receive like, you know, something maybe that your family member didn't get to relate to you, you know. So it's like, oh, you know, you're doing a good job, you know, to be able to hear that from someone is really, really nice.
To know who's on the other side, on your team, going, hey, call on me anytime, I'm here.
What is the difference? So you read palms.
I do.
However, I noticed that a lot of the readings you do, you only need to hold someone's hand to feel. So as a palm reader, there's two different levels of palm reading. There's something where you're looking at it, and there's also where you're feeling. What is that?
And so with like, it's incredible to be Reiki attuned, to be in the energy field, to be able to feel the energy. I love to teach people what to look out for in their own hands, right? If you've got fear that your partner might be cheating, you show the person how to read that in their own palms, right? If you've got fear, whatever your fear might be around abundance, around your mission, your purpose, you can see it in your hands. And so once someone learns how to read their own palms, and you then go into the energy field and you're transmitting the next level of relaxed oxytocin hormone cascade from your hand to their hand. When you know what you're doing on purpose, you can do it without necessarily telling someone else. This energy transmission allows you to hear more clearly. It allows you to sense and stay connected with the earth, your heart, right? Your heart releases oxytocin. Serotonin comes in anytime you hug or hold a hand. But your body's intelligence, right now, science only knows about 10% of what your body can actually do. That's Deepak Chopra saying 90% of what your body can do, science doesn't even recognize. It's only the 2000s that we got the DNA and understanding of epigenetics, like how talking to your body makes a difference, what you're saying to yourself repeatedly over and over again.
Right. Grow longer.
Grow longer, right? Grow longer with
so
your hair.
You have workshops coming up for palmistry? I know there's a lot of people who want to learn how to do
right.
that.
And so Miracle Makers Academy has all of these resources, learning how to read your palms, learning how to connect with your ancestors, being able to really know what your past lives. We have over 100 years worth of research on past lives. We've got all of this information on the Akashic record, how to do your body heals. How your body heals is being with itself.
Actually, and going back to kind of like being able to heal yourself and calling in the elements, so to say, is understanding the wheel, right?
The wheel.
So that way you know how much water you have in your chart, how much fire, how much air, because I feel like that's why sometimes we bond with certain people, because there's an energy field that's exchanged with that milk and honey mana.
Yes.
Like that liquid light coming from each other. We're exchanging essences with each other. And that's why it's important for community and important for these conversations, because
it's so beautiful. And so we've got online specials right now for palmistry, because you are needed. If you know how to run your own instincts, your own instrument, your body is your instrument. And we want that for as many people as possible, to have 20/20 vision, to be able to see so clearly what you're here to do, what you're here to love, what only you can express through your instrument.
20/20 vision, creating masters for themselves. And one way you can do that is learning your palm.
And so private sessions, there's gift certificates available. We really want to do this to bring as many resources to Afghanistan, to bring as many resources as we can to all of the projects. Fairy Ranch is one of our favorite projects, to bring more resources to that area. It's a beautiful exchange that happens. You get to learn, you get to connect, you get to go even further. We're running a special right now, and that's because we want you to have this. I've got such an extraordinary life, and that life, I want to give you your version of this extraordinary life, living your potential, truly being happy. It's an old message. Hurt people. And when you can really understand why some of your relationships, why some of the family stuff, why some of the past, when you understand the hurt, it's written here, it's written in your energy field, it's written in any dis-ease that might be expressing. When you get that, you'll be able to give as much as you want to give. You'll be able to make a difference to as many, to whomever you choose.
Sometimes it takes just interacting with someone who can help you get there. That makes all the difference.
Yeah. We love you.
It really does. Yeah, like I know it's definitely benefited me in all these years of interacting and being with all the miracle makers. Your husband, Greg Larsen, shout out to him, because definitely holds space, like figuratively and literally, for divine masculine. And so a lot of cool projects coming up and cool things that we are going to work on together as well.
Right.
So we have just ourselves, for my point, we have the Shamanitas has an event coming up on December 13th. It is called Shamanitas Presents Alchemizing 2020. And we're harnessing the reverent power of the elements to be able to call in abundance and to call in sacredness into this next year, to know that we're really guided by an amazing force. And, although you might be lacking or feeling like you're lacking in abundance, we're all going to do it together. We're going to be able to call in this abundance together. So you can see links in the bios to find Dr. Sarah, how you can come to the event on December 13th at the Be Crystal Clear space.
I can't recommend it enough. It raised the vibration at the ranch every time. But calling in the elements, the prayer, the ritual, I can't recommend it enough. When you feel it, the sound bath, the purest vibration of love and giving and abundance coming through. It's quite
I know that it's
extraordinary.
real because the girls and I, you know, every time we have like little, even we call them little cat fights or whatever, like our disagreements, it's like there's some force that is pulling us together. Move beyond your ego, move beyond this. Like you're bringing in something
Yes.
really cool for the world. And so that's why I just like feel, I just like I need to express how important it is. It's not, of course we want ticket sales, you know, we want people to come, we want to be supported that way as well. But we still feel like we're meant to call in people to come in here. And that's why
Yes.
I feel called to do interviews, especially with hers, because she's brought so much light to our life. So I hope that one day you get to meet her and come to one of our events and just interact with the miracle makers, because it's needed right now. And there's sparks happening all over the world right now. And this is just but one amazing spark that we want to bring to you. So
grateful. Love you guys.
If you watched all this, thank you.
I can't wait. So excited.
All right, you guys. Thanks so much again. Check the links below in the description, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye for
I'm
now.
going to click off here.